Live from the legendary podcast bus in sunny California, it's America's funniest new podcast.
Oh my God, what did you do?
Pretty happy about it. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
We think it's funny. And now, here are your hosts, Mark Schiff and Daniel Nobel.
Mark Schiff here for the podcast We Think It's Funny with my co-host Danny Lobel.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, good to see you, sir. And today we have a lady that I've known for, 40 almost
Maybe 40.
years, maybe 40 years.
Yeah, about
It's
40.
Second time I've seen you.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah, you do.
So,
You haven't changed. You haven't changed at all.
You know, I went on one of those programs last night where so I took a
Yeah.
picture I had of you, and I aged it, just to
Yeah.
see. And you look much better than the computer said you were gonna.
So let's be
wow.
completely honest. Have I aged? I mean, do I look?
You look good.
Thank you. You do too.
Thank you. I feel okay.
Paula Poundstone is in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, and that's who we're talking to for those who are listening and not watching yet. But
Oh, because it's a different thing.
it's on. We have it on video and on audio. So I thought I'll say who you are.
You guys have, I have a podcast. It's called Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, but we don't have video. We have a sketch artist,
That comes,
and
wow.
they work really quickly,
Wow.
and
Yeah, they
then
must.
and then we mail the sketches
You know
to the
something?
listeners.
Each listener gets a sketch.
Yeah.
I did a comedy festival in Akumal, Mexico years ago, and Dan Schlissel, who you know from Stand Up Records,
Yes.
hired the court sketch artists to come in and sit there and draw all the comedians on stage, and we got all these pictures. It was the coolest thing,
That is cool.
and they look like they're from a courtroom.
Yeah.
The comedy clubs used to do that. They would have sketches of us that somebody would draw what we look like, and they would put them up on the walls of.
Every now and then, an
Yeah.
audience member, will bring me a
Little sketch yourself.
sketch they
I get
made
that
of
too.
me.
They'll
It's
bring
very
me.
sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the nicest things that they took that time. So two things. First, right off the bat, I walked you from the car to the thing.
Yeah, and I made it.
You made it from the car to the thing. When you get
yeah.
older, it's one of those. You mentioned 4 TV shows that you liked, and I gotta be honest, I've never seen any of them.
Really?
Yeah, and this was interesting to me. The Partridge Family, I never watched.
Partridge.
I've
That's
never
just-
seen it
that-
either.
Okay.
Like who cannot watch
Boy,
that?
do I
as far
not
as you
belong here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Another awkward moment. I loved the Partridge
know
Family
you did.
when I was
I-
growing
I-
up.
I
I
know you
absolutely
did.
loved it. I still, by the way, I have their album in the kitchen. I mean, I don't play it all the time, but
You have a
I-
record player in the kitchen?
No, well, I have it on a CD
Yeah.
in the
Okay, yeah.
kitchen. But
Yeah.
if my oldest daughter was to go through the CDs and choose one to play, she might well choose the Partridge Family album. And by the way, I don't know if she ever saw the show. She just
Right.
liked the music.
Have
too.
you seen it as a? I was going to say an adult because you were a little kid then.
Yeah, I have it on DVD.
Does it hold up?
I don't think I've watched it since I got it on DVD. I used to get stuff from my kids because I didn't let my kids watch television. But that's not that we didn't, stare at a screen mindlessly. We did. But I just didn't want all those commercials, and I didn't want so much of this stuff you flip past that's just horrible.
Right.
And so most of our viewing was on DVDs or videos. And I would get them a lot of stuff that I liked. It's funny when I showed them the Three Stooges the first time, his son was a little incorrigible. And, so I made the speech about how we don't saw one another's heads.
Right. We don't take a hammer and just bang each other in the face.
No poking
Right,
each other
exactly.
in the eyes.
Not,
yeah.
Right, not okay to do. But it was a relatively brief speech. I think he understood. I made a much longer speech before I played them the Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah. I had to.
Because I said, family solves a problem in 22 minutes, and no moms vacuuming pearls.
Yeah.
Because some of those shows, you watch them and it just made you feel bad. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch the Waltons and just sob. Not because the episode was all that moving, although sometimes it was, but because my family was nothing like that.
No family. Well, look, on Gilligan's Island, remember the show?
I do. I don't think it was a good show, but I do think it's part of the sort of American lexicon. I think you have to know
So
that
Jim
show.
Backus and his wife, Lovey, her name
Sure.
was Lovey on the show.
Oh, yeah.
They're on a little island. They 3-hour thing there, and she's always looks beautiful. The hair is perfect. The makeup is perfect. She's got a new dress.
Well, if you like that look, yeah.
Yeah, of course. But if you're going on a 1 hour boat ride, do you bring 30 changes of clothing? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they strayed.
I think it was a
from
3
the
hour.
truth.
To be
It
fair,
was,
Three
it
hour
was a
tour.
3 hour
It
tour.
was a
You know,
3 hour.
my son, when he was little, they used to. There's this term that they would use, like in the sort of psychological, educational circles, where he didn't transition well. So to get him to move from one thing to the other was difficult, and he hated school from the get-go. I mean, from preschool on. So getting him just to walk down the street to get to school was hellacious. And one of the things that I would do is just try to distract him. Just
Sure.
tell stories, sing songs, just to keep him right. And once he got there, he wasn't going to act out the way he did getting there because he didn't want to be embarrassed in front of the
Sure.
other kids. But just that stretch was hell. So, and I ran out of stories that I could make up. So I was reaching to all sorts of resources. And one morning, because they'd never seen Gilligan's Island, so one morning I told them the story of a group of tourists that were on a 3 hour tour. And of course I said, a 3 hour tour. Like I repeated
Sure,
it.
of course.
And then I told you, he could not figure out where I was hiding my Pulitzer Prize.
Wow.
Because I didn't tell him it was a television show. I pretended that I just was making
What a
this
great
up.
thing for parents to use the premise of TV shows to tell a story to their kids.
It was a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful story.
I
A
felt
tiny ship was tossed.
when my kids, I got 3 boys, and they're all grown out of the house now. So my middle son thought that I was the best storyteller in the entire world. And let me tell you the pressure when his friend would sleep over.
Yeah.
And they would call me in.
Yeah.
And his friend would go, Eli told me you are the best storyteller. And I felt more pressure than when I did the Tonight Show
Yeah.
with Carson, that I had to really come up with something here. And either they just fell for me, but they said that was great. That was really...
I think it was just a cruel hoax between Eli and his friend, because could there be a worse introduction for anything than, this greatest blah, blah
Bad.
in the world, right? The worst.
When I tell my daughter's stories at night and I'm improvising the stories, I'm always terrified that I'm going to not know where to go with it. So far,
Sure.
so good, but I'm like, I know what you're talking about completely because
Yeah, it's scary.
yeah, you're like, oh man, I don't want to blow it because they're so hooked in. It's
They-
like,
they-
you know,
And I always ended the story at a very crucial point, like we're going to continue
of
next
course,
time.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden they go to sleep. We'll bring it tomorrow.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
By the way, talk about introductions. I went on the other night in Aspen. I was in Aspen. What's today? Wednesday. Monday night I did a show, and the guy gave me the longest introduction. And it's painful to stand there listening
Oh, gosh, yeah.
to him go on and on about you. Because I'm a little nervous anyway. It's not going to go great.
Yeah.
But then this buildup, like, Einstein was coming to, the funniest Einstein in the world or
Yeah,
whatever.
right,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. Craig Ferguson did that to me one time as a joke.
Oh, really?
Like, made this really
Yeah.
effusive. I mean, he knew he's,
Yeah.
been around the block to know that that's like the worst
Right.
kind of, it should be a surprise if you happen to be good.
You know who did it well? And Gilbert Gottfried on his podcast. I don't know if you've heard.
I never did know.
He would give, right, the
Yeah.
longest intro. Whoever's sitting across from him, Max Baer from, Beverly Hillbillies, 5 minutes, every credit he's ever done. And
And everything else. I was on the
George
podcast.
George
yeah.
Slaughter. He went
Yeah.
on and on, maybe 8 minutes before George said a word,
You'll read the whole Wikipedia.
and more. And
And
keep
then
adding.
this guy went down to the comedy clubs when he was 12 years old. On and on.
You know, where if you've ever done like a corporate job or something like that, or some, where they're not really sort of show busy familiar. It's their once a year thing.
Yeah.
They like to read your bio.
They love it.
And I've begged. I mean, that's like an instruction that we give them. Don't read the bio. Not interesting. Don't read. And you
Right.
know what? I see them up there with that goddamn bio in
Well,
their
they do
hand.
that because they want to cover for themselves in case it doesn't go well.
Yeah. And yeah.
What can I tell you? This is look what she's done.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. You would have booked her too if with
Yeah.
this thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'm done, you know how they come out afterwards and they're sort of applauding along with the audience, and now you're past them, and then they talk into the microphone. Like, wasn't she great
Yeah.
or whatever like that? There, a lot of times at these kinds of events, they go, boy, it seemed like a good idea, didn't
Yeah,
it? That's
yeah.
another way
Yeah.
of doing it.
It's interesting what events in your life become significant in the bio. Like I was reading your bio before you came in, and more than one place, and it talks about the period of time in your life where you were on Greyhound buses touring the country. I don't know how long of that period of your life that was, but it's taken a significant stance in your bio.
Well, okay, let's face it. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a comic, okay?
That's right.
So we're not exactly few and far between. And so, just, you try to, I mean, I didn't write the bio, my manager did, but,
Yeah.
and she's forever rewriting. It's a big bone of
Yeah.
contention between us. I think she thinks she's paid by the hour because she's forever rewriting that foolish bio that means nothing. So I was on, Wait, don't tell me the other day, right? So you figure, all right, I lived for like a month at a time here and there on a Greyhound bus, checking out what clubs were like in different cities. And I don't know, it was kind of interesting, I guess. Doesn't mean any more than any other credit that the show that someone now is going to watch is going to be funny. But anyways, you figure, anytime anybody hears that story, they're like, wow, did you really do that? Yeah, I really did that, blah, blah. So the other day I was like, wait, don't tell me. And okay, I'm going to screw up the name. Roy, he did the correspondence dinner, maybe the last one or the one before the White House correspondence dinner. Black guy, really funny.
Roy, huh?
Roy.
Roy Wood Jr.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Roy Wood Jr.
Very
so
funny guy.
I'm sitting on the panel of Wait, don't tell me. There's a big screen across the room. He wasn't there in person. He was there via, Zoom. And there's a big screen across the room. There's his face. He's talking. And Peter said something about, the Greyhound bus. And Roy proceeds to tell a story about he used to, he didn't live on the Greyhound bus the same way that I did, but he did. It was very similar.
I think you both come from the same part of the country as well, you and Roy.
Apparently there's no other way of getting out of there. And, hauling your ass on a Greyhound.
You may remember some club I worked. They said you slept upstairs. Is that possible? At the club?
Zanies in
Zanies,
Chicago.
that was it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it.
For how long?
They used to put. As far as I know, I am not the only one who ever slept upstairs. So
Zanies.
Zanies was this long, narrow club in Chicago.
Sure.
Still there, as far as I know. I haven't been there.
You walk in, the stage is right there.
Yes.
And you walk in the door, it's right on the left.
I haven't been there in a million years. But, in fact, probably this story will probably.
They still have coming soon, Paula Poundstone there. Yeah.
I'd love to. They were. It was a lovely, fun place, and the guy who owned it, Rick something, I forget his last name, but he was the sweetest, nicest guy. All right, so and in fact, I met them during my Greyhound, because what I used to do is I used to get some information about a club, and then I would take the Greyhound bus to that city. And I didn't have anywhere to stay. And nobody hired me. I was just going to check it out and maybe do an open mic night or whatever, And so that's how. So, and then what I would do is when I got off the bus after I arrived, I would look at the schedule because I had what was called an Ameripass, where for a month you could go anywhere you wanted for $150, right? So
if you didn't get murdered.
It was a blank. It was a blank. It was the Hunger Games. It was a blank ticket book. So and you'd have it filled out, and you'd tell them where you want to go next, and they'd fill it out for you. All right. So I would. So for example, I arrived in Chicago, and I look at their schedule, and I see what is a destination about 4 hours away from there, and then I would figure out what's the last trip to that destination.
Wow.
And so I would go do whatever I was going to do, and then I would return to the Greyhound station in time to get that trip to the 4 hours away. And as soon as I arrived there, I would turn around and come back. And that's how I got my 8 hours sleep at night. So when I was at Zanies, I forget the name of this guy that I guess I asked if I could use the phone book or something. I was trying to take a cab. I had almost no money either. Can't believe I was taking a cab. But I was going to take a cab. I had to get back to the station by midnight, and somebody asked me why I had to do that, and I explained to them what I was doing, and their jaw dropped, and they said, "Well, just come stay with me." And it was a really nice second city guy, and so I did. But That's not the part of the story I meant to tell you. What I meant to tell you was, so eventually, I mean, I never had any place to stay when I worked there. So eventually, Rick tells me he has an office upstairs, and he's kind of turned it into a little apartment, right? And so I could stay there. He says, "Don't let anybody know you're staying there."
I knew.
Okay, did you know? Yeah.
That's how I brought it up. I knew you were staying in that apartment.
So it's late at night. I think I was watching a Perry Mason. It's late at night. I'm watching the little TV they had up there. I'm sleeping on the floor. How I do, and it's on the second floor, you know.
Yeah.
And every time the ice machine dropped, I levitated about a foot. Everything scared me, and so I hear a tapping on the window.
Right.
On the window. It's 2 floors up.
Yeah.
I hear tapping on the window. I'm like, what the? And I am immediately bathed in sweat and almost paralyzed with fear. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I think, okay, I use an approach that my children use as adults, which is just ignore it. And
Yeah.
so just no matter what gets wrong, just ignore it. So little bit of time goes by, and I hear the tapping again. I am horrified. I'm like, oh my God, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to grab my sneakers, throw them on, and run out. I'm not going to lock this club because I had the keys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lock it because it's not mine. And I'm just out of here. Then I hear my name called. I am 2 stories up.
Wow.
And when I heard my name called, I'm like, okay, I know nobody knows that I'm staying here. And I make my way to the window, and I look out, and now I'm going to forget the name of the comic who it was, but it was another comic. He had worked there the week before me, and he had stayed in that apartment. And remember how, like, guys used to just live in their car?
Sure, of course.
Right? So they were on the road so much that there was no point paying for an apartment. So they would just live in their car, or they would live apartment to apartment that the clubs provided.
Sure, the little condo.
So he had gone on to his next job. It was Mike Farrow.
Yeah.
He had gone on to his next job, and when he got there, it was canceled.
Right.
So he drove back, and he thought, well, I'll stay in
Sure,
Rick's
you were there.
apartment. Yeah. And, well, then he had to stay after, because I was so scared I couldn't be alone after that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, you sleep over there, I'll sleep over there, but I'm not. But anyways, yeah, I stayed in that apartment.
I remember one night I was going on there.
There's no question you can ask me. Like, it could even be something that really should just be yes or no.
Yeah.
And I can do,
20 minutes.
a really 20-minute.
That's
and
good.
I'm not saying like a funny 20 minutes or an interesting 20 minutes. I'm just saying I make 20
By
minutes.
the
That's
way,
actually a talent. if
That's
you
what
don't
I
know it.
love about you as a comic. It's like the way I was talking to Mark about this before the show. Just you have this incredible flow, the way you speak. Your mind it works so much faster than probably almost anybody's.
Well, that's very kind of you. Yeah.
So
you're an
you
immortal.
have these amazing suits that you wear on stage.
Thank you.
Have this
American flag
incredible
suit, right?
style. No, but really, there's only 2 comics that I can think of who really dress in a spectacular way for the stage, and that's Paula and Billy Connolly, who used to have these incredible outfits. And when I interviewed him, he gave me a hard time about how I dress for the stage. And he's like, comics need to dress for the part. You don't wear regular people clothing, So
I agree with that
I
100%.
don't. I totally disagree.
You don't?
do
So
you?
I'd like to hear what you think.
You wear regular people clothing on stage?
No.
No. So that's what
No.
he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think it means that everybody needs to. They can if they want.
Where
and
did
they-
it start
and they
for
shouldn't
you?
if they don't
So you
want.
the T-shirt and
I think, and it's all individualized.
Right.
It doesn't.
it
you know.
is, but it's.
I don't come away from watching a show or hearing, well, I don't watch hardly any shows, but I don't go, but he had a cardigan. It doesn't.
So I have people walk up to me, just in Aspen the other night. I did a show. I have these beautiful handmade suits that I get. They're made for me. And before I go on, a guy came over to me and go, "You look terrific, and thank you for dressing up for the show. So many people don't do that anymore." I mean, I work with Jerry with Seinfeld.
Yeah.
We tour. We both wear beautiful suits,
Yeah.
and people really appreciate it. They really do. They think.
Well, that one guy did.
No, but I think other people, they feel it's a special night.
I
if
don't think you have
dress-
enough data points here to come up with. Now you're like Trump. People
It's so
love it.
funny that you're on the
People
other
are
side of this
saying-
argument because of the way you dress for the stage. So
I enjoy.
Have people tried to talk you out of dressing that way?
No.
Never?
Where
No.
did it start? When did you start dressing like that?
Well, I had worn suits for years. And by the way, every now and then, this is a burden that women have that comics have that I think that men don't so much have, which is, for example, I was the first woman to do the White House Correspondents' Dinner years ago. And, I sort of excitedly look at the Washington Post the next day, hoping that they would have something positive to say. And it was just a short entry about it, anyways. And half of that short entry was about what I was wearing.
Yeah.
And I don't think they do that to guys so much, and it's insulting. And in fact, I think they may have even said I was wearing a men's suit. I have, in all these years, worn one man's suit, and that is I'm going to forget the name of it. It's a tuxedo. Who's the tuxedo maker?
No idea.
Italian. I can't think.
Armani?
Yes, I have an Armani.
Armani?
I have an Armani tuxedo. That is the only man's suit I have ever worn. Every other one I've either bought at a woman's store or had made. And so that's weird to begin with. And who cares? I mean, who cares? But anyway, so I had been wearing suits for a while, and just I would see something I liked it. It was simple as that. And then I was making the cover for an album that I did called I Heart Jokes, Paul Tells Them in Boston. And in a fairly uncreative way, I thought, well, why don't I wear like a Minuteman outfit on the cover of the album, which I did. And I got a wardrobe person to help me do that. And we went to Western Wardrobe Warehouse, whatever it's called. Used to be over on Western, now it's in the Valley. It is amazing. It's just like blocks of a building, and rows and rows of clothing from different eras and different, and they literally inside the building they literally have street signs, and I of course got lost. But anyway, so while we were working on this, I said, I've always kind of wanted to wear a Zoot suit. What do you think that would be like?
Right.
So she got me one, and I put it on. It was way too boxy. It was just, it sort of swallowed me up. It was I didn't like how it looked. And so she said, well, you could make one. And then she starts clipping and measuring and doing.
Yeah.
And her name is, shoot, I'm going to forget her last name now. It's my friend Marilee. And Marilee Murray Walsh. And so she helped me, do that. And then we went fabric shopping and got a couple fabrics. And I love how they look. The other thing that's great is it's like dressing with Garanimals. It's like my uniform.
Right.
I put my uniform on, I go to work.
Yeah.
And I come home and I wear this, and then I sleep in this.
Mhm.
And then I take it off. I take it off twice a week to shower.
By the way, you know the Armani slogan?
No.
Your money is our money.
Oh,
So
good slogan.
yeah, it's a good. So my family have refused, especially my one son, even when they were little, refused to go out with me because of the way I would dress. Sometimes he would go, "I'm not going to dinner with the family tonight."
Because you wouldn't wear pants.
Well, that was part of it.
Yeah.
No,
I think your kid might have a point there.
certain hats bothered him. Certain jackets I wear. Jonathan Winters was the ultimate dresser on stage in a way. He always
I don't
wore.
remember what he wore on stage.
He wore different uniforms. Like he would dress like a pilot or a Navy commander.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's
That's
unbelievable.
funny.
I must have
Farmer.
told you the story about when I met Jonathan in Santa Barbara, but I'll just take one snippet of it. I was trying to meet Jonathan Winters because he was a hero of mine, and no one was introducing me to him, so I took it into my own hands and I went and met him. I went to Santa Barbara to hope to meet him, and somebody told me, well, he shops at that thrift shop. Maybe they'd give you a lead. And I went to the thrift shop.
Oh, wow.
And I said, hey, I want to meet Jonathan Winters. I'm a young comedian, and I heard he lives around here somewhere and he shops here. And they said, I don't know who that is. Do you have a picture? So I went on my iPhone and I pulled up a picture of Jonathan Winters. And the guy goes, that guy's a comedian? I said, yeah. He says, you know something? He's the weirdest guy. He comes in sometimes dressed like a firefighter. He comes in
Yeah.
dressed like a plumber. Like no one knows what to make of him. Now I get it.
All
Like,
right.
so-
You know what? Then you're right. He is the greatest
Hey,
dresser.
he's unbelievable. I mean, on the Tonight Show, look at his old Tonight shows, and he's sitting there and he's dressed like a fireman or
Yeah.
plumber or something like that.
Oh, that's
never know
great.
how he's
I
gonna come
love
out.
That.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I was,
But did you ever feel like if did you ever like feel let down by his out? You know,
no.
If
I've
he
never
had
felt
done that and he wasn't funny, then you wouldn't care.
then he'd just be crazy.
Right.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
I always, this is something I hate about myself, which is, if I had more money and I was really, really, really rich, I would just start dressing any way I want. You know, I would dress like a fireman. I would just walk through the streets. For some reason, I've always been attracted to that type of thing.
I have a firefighter jacket.
Then I'm going to wear it one day. I
Yeah.
think we're about the same size.
My son, when he was 3, I bought him, like for a Christmas present, from like a really swanky toy store. I bought him a firefighter costume, and we used to go to fire stations a lot and stuff.
Me too.
And he had, they used to give the kids the plastic red hats. He had a stack of hats that was so high. Because it was just a thing that we did. We all, and every time they'd give him the hat.
Mhm.
He was so far beyond, oh, look at the red truck. I mean, they showed him the defibrillator. He was,
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. Big difference between taking the kids to the police station. The fire department, they'd show you the truck and you stand up on the police
Yeah.
station. They take you downstairs. Here's where we beat the hell out of somebody.
right, yeah. It's not
There's
a
a
hat.
prison where we
cell.
starve people to death.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole different
It's more of a
learning curve.
It's more of a cautionary tale there.
Yeah,
where
this is
at the-
where he poked his eye out in this room here.
yeah.
So let me ask you a question about being atheist, because I'm not atheist, but I'm fascinated by it. So do you find meaning in life without it, or
Yes.
so what? So I mean, I know
See,
the question
I
is
believe
silly,
in you.
but
How
yeah,
about that?
thank you.
I
But I mean, like, okay, and I knew it's a silly question, but it's for a purpose,
It's,
you know.
it's
So
not a
like,
silly question, I mean, but you've been asked that before.
it's just such a ridiculous concept that
Yeah.
without this, I mean, I would think it was the other way around. I would think that if there's some omnipotent God that manipulates everything that we do, people go, God has his reasons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, then what's the meaning in life? You're not even in charge.
Well, no,
just
there's
a
still free.
pawn.
There's still free will if you.
Really? To what degree?
Well, you only have free will under moral situations. Like for instance, you have no free will about when you're going to get hungry. It just pops up, right? I mean, certain things you,
Because God made you hungry?
whatever reason. No, not because God. The system is built a certain way that you.
Here's what I don't get. I don't get you can't have it both ways. It can't be. And I have no desire to talk anybody out of their religion. That's
Too
not
late.
my
You
goal.
already did.
It's a-
I'm
it's a-
done.
I'm gone too.
Wow,
I'm
that was
finished.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, I feel
Yeah.
awful now. I feel
You
whereas
can drop dead, God. We're done with you.
Whereas
We're
I
finished.
just felt the hand of Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh.
the strangest thing. But this thing where it's on again, off again, like, no, God was in control of that. No, that was up to us. No, God was in control. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, no, that was the devil. It doesn't make any sense.
So at the end of the road here, like God forbid the day come. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah.
At the end of the road, it's just lights out, nothing, nowhere else.
No, after you die, and this I believe, you go to a really long Shen Yun show.
By the way, have you been? You're
No.
joking because
No.
I went with my wife and another couple. Maybe about 20 minutes into it, we stared at each other and go, "We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is the worst thing we've ever seen," and it's the most promoted show in the history of the world.
Yeah, you
Every
can't get away
town
from
I
those
go to.
billboards.
Every town, little towns,
Yep.
Alabama, Wisconsin,
Yep.
Shenyang, coming.
Yeah.
So I phrased the question in kind of a provocative way, but the real question I want to ask is like, where do you find the meaning in life, and what do you think it's all about?
Oh, I don't know ultimately what it's all about. There's
But
so much
you
that
must
we
think about it sometimes,
There's so
right?
much that we don't know. There's
Mhm.
like only in recent years have they begun to talk about microbes, Well, microbes were there the whole time. Like I have a thing, my eyes tear. It looks like I'm crying. Like sometimes, literally, I'll be standing on stage, there'll be tears.
Right.
I look like Jimmy Swaggart. But it's it's some condition. I forget. The doctor didn't even really explain it to me, but the pharmacist said. And there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 things wrong with my eyes, and so I get them all confused. But the pharmacist said that some medication I was taking was because she said, well, everyone has mites on their eyelashes.
Wow.
Which is just creepy as all get
It is
out, right?
creepy.
You have a
And she
real
said-
problem with eyelashes.
Well, and she said, yeah.
Mite infested.
God created them. She said everyone has mites on their eyelashes, but you have too many. As soon as I heard that, I went home.
What's too many
I
mites?
grabbed a fly swatter and just
May I suggest a shower?
yeah, little
Yeah. Get out of those clothes you've been sleeping in for the last 4 months.
No, this discovery was made before my new change of hygiene protocol.
Yeah, I find that disgusting to have mites in the eyes, but I also, they tell us about our mattress too. There's
Oh yeah.
thousands of
yeah.
creeping things.
See, that's where I tricked them.
It's the mites jumping off your
don't-
eyes.
I don't. Well, that's not true.
You
I
don't
sleep
sleep
in
on a mattress?
I sleep on a mattress in a hotel. But at home I sleep on the floor.
The cats sleep on the mattress?
No, I don't have a mattress. There's
You
no,
don't- you don't
there's
have
not
a mattress?
bed in my house.
Is that
Like-
because you're asexual?
No, it's because I just you
No,
know you
so
put a bed in the
Do you
room.
have
And it's all you can. It's all you can do. Like when I stay in hotel rooms, I hardly get off the bed.
Mhm.
Right? I put my computer on there. I sit. It's
So
it's
what
a
do
It
you
small
opens up a lot of
space.
space not having
do you
a
sleep on a mattress?
No,
At
she
all?
doesn't
I mean,
have
on
a
the floor,
mattress.
something.
In the
A blow up,
No.
something? Just floor.
No, that blow up.
No,
Jesus,
it's terrible. I know.
It's the worst.
It's like waves.
But
They
that's
have these
coming
little
from
ripples
somebody
in
who
them.
sleeps on the floor. I mean, maybe blow up isn't bad compared to floor. You're
no,
saying floor
no,
is better than
no.
blow up?
Blow up is terrible. They always leak slowly, and by
That's
in the
true,
morning,
How
your
long have you been
back is
sleeping on the floor?
killing you.
How long have you been sleeping on the
Since
floor?
high school.
How's your back?
Good.
So there you go.
So you never you have all this space that most people have mattresses in.
Yeah.
You're sleeping on the floor on what, with a blanket
I sleep
or
on a. I sleep on a sheet on the floor.
Oh.
I put a blanket over me, and
You
One
know-
and
pillow?
I get up in the morning and I throw it in a box.
your lifestyle would be very easy to transition into homeless.
I could live in this bus. You want security on your bus at night? I could live in this pod bus.
No showering,
You know, by
no
the way,
changing clothes,
Well, I'm
sleeping
ready-
on the floor.
Here's the thing. I'm
Yeah.
ready to stick and move because who knows what's in our future.
that's right.
And that part is true.
You
I
actually
really,
said that in some interview about money. You know, you don't know what's going to happen.
right.
So
you
what
don't
are
know
your
what's gonna
theories on existence? What are your theories on why we're here and what it means?
happen. I think it's I don't know. I don't know.
Or
You know,
if not,
even
it-
when people go, oh, you know, we started from, and they tell you this story about, you know, and then there was a thing, and then it burst, and then but why was there a thing, and where did it come from, and how did it?
Yeah.
So I can't explain the beginning. I can't really
Nobody can.
explain the end. I can say definitively that getting up every morning and trying to make things, you know, a little bit better for somebody,
Mhm.
right, is a good way to live. I'm not sure that I always succeed. You know, I often have this thing that I do, which is because I'm alone a lot. Mostly, I'm alone, and so like if I'm in like at the airport or something, I feel like I talk to people a little bit. You know, hopefully not, but just to lift their spirits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see somebody futzing in the mirror, for example, at the airport ladies' room, you know, and they're poking at their hair and they're this, that, I always turn to them and say, you look fantastic. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it, right? You know,
Yeah.
right? Just a little. I don't mean like engage them in lengthy conversation, but sometimes I think I'm doing something and that's not how it comes off. So, here's one example. So you asked me about my back. Well, I've hurt my back twice in my life. But it's not from sleeping. It's from, you know, I did this or that and I hurt my back, and it's kind of brutal when that happens. But it has nothing to do with sleeping. But so I was at the physical therapist one time for this, back incident that had taken place. And, what was it, a vertebrae or something squishing my nerve.
Mhm.
And by the way, for any listeners that have been prescribed physical therapy, do it and do all the exercise because that's how you fix it.
Agreed.
That's exactly how you
Agreed.
fix it, right?
Yeah.
And why waste that opportunity? So fix it. So all right. So I go. I've been multiple times to this same physical therapist, and they have a suite. There's a bunch of physical therapists that use the same office, right? They use the same. So I'm waiting in the waiting room, and there's a lot of canes, there's a lot of walkers, there's a couple of wheelchairs, and I probably was the youngest person in there. And so whatever, so I get called, I go back, I do the physical therapy. I come out, and I didn't, what possesses me? Like, half the time in my head, I'm going like, why do I really, what's the matter with me? So I open the door, and I go like into the lobby, the waiting area, and I go, I'm cured. And I'm thinking that,
They're going to laugh.
I'm thinking, at least, come on, at least a smile,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Something. No, just people are
Nothing.
horrified, horrified. So a couple days ago, I'm in the airport, and I think I was even like dozing in my chair in the airport and waiting at the gate. And these two women, they were sitting, one lady was sitting beside me, and the other was sitting like, in a chair facing her across the way. And they recognized one another. And they were like, oh, it's Beverly. Oh, Beverly. And, oh, Liz. And they start talking about their life. Clearly, they had been friends years ago, and now they bump into each other. They're talking a little about their lives. And, Beverly says to Liz, and her husband's with her, and she says, well, we're so lucky because we have this little restaurant just down the street from us on Wilshire. And, so sometimes we don't have any food. We'll just go down to the restaurant and order something. It's so convenient. And then Liz says, we do the same thing. We got a little place. We love it. It's right nearby. And, and we, go there and get a quick bite to eat or bring something home. It's perfect. It's so convenient. And right about that time, I heard them say it. But like as soon as I finished saying it, I was like, I don't think they knew I was listening, but I turned to the woman beside me and I said, I'll bring either one of you a sandwich anytime you want it.
Oh.
And they just froze. They just froze. And then one of them says, well, do you have a restaurant? I go, no, I'll just make it in my kitchen. I think I live right near you. And they were just horrified. Then their conversation stopped entirely.
That should have been a nice thing.
This was my plan. A lot of times my plans don't really work out.
I do similar things,
Yeah.
by the way. If I have a doctor's appointment, I do this a lot. So they'll call you up and they'll go, tomorrow, 11 o'clock appointment, just check in. I go, okay. I said, would you like me to bring you something? Do you need coffee or something like that? And they always go, what? Because they don't think they heard right. I go, do you need anything, lunch or something? Can I bring you in? They go, oh, no, thank you. And they're very nice about it. So I enjoy doing that. And I mean it. I hope to God that, and I think once out of 100 times someone said, yeah, if you don't mind, regular with 2 sugars on the side.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to bring it for them.
Yeah.
And today I just, I love doing that stuff for people. There's a young comedian. I met his father in Aspen the other day over dinner. He was just sitting next to me. Said his son's a comedian, been doing
Give
it
him
for
a
2
shout
years.
out. What's his name?
Michael Moore.
Okay.
Michael Moore is his name. He's from Texas. He's been on the road a little with Mark Norman. After 2 years, he's touring a little with Mark. That's pretty damn good.
Who's that person he's touring?
Mark Norman.
Oh, I don't
He's a
know.
pretty
He's a
popular comedian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyway, he wrote me and said, you met my father, and he gave me your email, and I'm going to come see you with Jerry Seinfeld and whenever. So I wrote him back. I said, here's my phone number. You call me if you want to talk about anything. And
Isn't that nice?
yeah, but that's what we do. We can help.
But to what you were saying about the other thing, Mark, you said you do it, I do it also. Like anytime you get a situation to sort of break people out of their normal routine, you do it. Like whenever I go into an elevator, I'll always say things like, thank you all for meeting me here on short notice. And you just
I learned that from David Sedaris, the great writer,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
So he says he hates travel conversation. He gets to a hotel and they always say to you, welcome to the Hilton. How was your flight?
Yeah, right.
He hates every one of those
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
How was your ride
yeah.
over?
Right.
So he breaks the ice by asking him a question that they've never been asked before.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to be in the Hilton. Wait, what's your favorite type of hat? They'll just ask them something that will open up, and they'll go, it's funny you ask. My father always wore hats, and all of a sudden they're in a conversation that would never have been.
Absolutely. And think of so much of our day, like for me anyways, I've spent more, like I can be away working, and maybe the only person that I talk to, like not from stage kind of thing, is like the clerk at the CVS. And so I always make an effort to
sure,
connect. Also, I've bussed tables. I've worked, jobs that are hard to do, and having somebody say something uplifting, that is a
you
really
try to be
great
funny
thing.
too sometimes when you with a salesperson, because I usually do pretty good when I try to work them. Tell them say something funny.
Oh yeah.
I usually I score pretty high.
Oh yeah.
With a salesperson.
Well, you won the salesperson comedy award, did you not?
I did.
Yeah.
did?
Gosh.
Please.
Wow.
Please.
What is that?
Did you tear up in your acceptance speech?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear Trump just won a golf tournament at his golf club? Wow, what a
hard to win your own club.
Cinderella story there, huh?
And you're the only player.
Nobody saw that coming. Whoa.
So I want to go back for a
Took
second.
the whole town by surprise.
I want to go one because this reminds me about the environment stuff.
Yeah.
So you said you don't think too much about how the world began, but you do think a lot about how the world's going to end.
Well, I think we've been told by scientists this is not a spiritual thing.
But it's on your mind.
This is the world. It's going to be fiery and floody. Yes.
So aside from the fact that there will be a period of suffering when everybody dies, do you think it will be bad that the world ends?
I do.
So why? I mean,
it's hard for me to put aside the suffering.
I'm not saying put aside the suffering. I'm saying we can agree the suffering is bad, no matter what perspective you're coming from.
So are you saying, what do I think about just not having a world anymore and no people? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
I guess.
It's never going to happen anyway.
There's
always going to be one guy eating a Danish that got away with it. That it's like the Hiroshima. Somebody came out and go, "What are you?" It's going to start up again.
Yeah, geez, I took a nap. Oh my heavens.
Well, that's what Douglas Fairbanks, great drunk, big drinker, 1906 earthquake. He woke up, went outside, and he said, "How am I going to pay for all this?" Like he caused this damage because of his horrible drinking.
Oh, he thought it was something he had done. Yeah.
The one guy eating a Danish is great.
Yeah.
All right, we have some news stories that we usually go into. Mark, do you want to pull them up?
Very quick.
Mark, you got news stories?
Yeah. Well, by the way, I want to ask you a question before we get. What we do is we just throw up a local, some sort of news story, and we just try to find something funny in it.
Yeah.
Which you're very good at.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes. But two quick questions. On your cat's show, the special.
Yes.
First, you get tremendous applause coming out. They're clapping, and you say, I hope I do well tonight, because otherwise this is overkill.
Yeah.
I can't remember the line.
We're all going to feel stupid, I think. Something like that, yeah.
Did you mean that?
Yes.
Did you worry that it could go south?
Yeah, when people are like really explosive, and of course they're amped up to be,
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the introduction we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, funniest person you've ever seen, you're gonna love her. And they come out and they're like, well, geez, I don't know. She seems,
I hope I can match this.
I thought Ellen was.
You don't want to disappoint these people, but the funny thing is, you never knew they existed before, and you probably never see them again.
And with the world ending, c'est la vie.
And they're all gone anyway. But
Yeah.
But I do think about that sometimes, by the way, that just like these people are almost like a blank canvas that, you go and paint on for a little while. And then you're never going to see almost any of them ever again.
Well, I have a lot of return audience members.
Well, not me.
So,
if you see my act, then...
By the way, we did that book thing.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it quickly. The library, I had a book come out. We sat in the back there, and you've done this. You've hosted this.
Many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same crowd, each the library?
I think it probably is often the same crowd. Why they asked me to do it again, I have no idea.
Well, you
but-
were very good.
But I will always do it for them.
This is
because-
an audience of all librarians.
Really?
Yeah, it's at a conference. It's
What a bunch of
library
dummies. You
conference.
would think that these people were on the ball.
Are they a quiet audience?
They missed every joke I did. They're so
No.
friggin' stupid.
Libraries aren't as quiet as they used to be.
No?
Nah, they're
Do they
you know,
teach librarians when they get the job? They go,
No, they're not as quiet.
can't
as
do
they
that
used to
anymore.
They
be.
don't do
People
the
pull out an
quiet
mallet.
training in libraries
I don't think
because
they do.
there are a
no.
lot of homeless people in libraries
Yeah.
now,
There
Yes,
are.
there
which has
are.
changed the whole dynamic of the library.
Well, it has.
you never saw a Three Stooges episode that took place in a library. They just
Mhm.
couldn't figure out how to be funny. So the question I want to ask you, I've never asked any other comedian. Do you have any idea what this question is going to be?
No, but if I have to tell the police anything, I'll say we were in a bus.
Right. Question is, what are you reading and what's some of your favorite books?
Okay.
I've never asked that of any comic.
I am reading. It's almost embarrassing what I'm reading, but I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Okay, first of all, I listen to a lot of books because I got to walk the dog.
Yeah, me
right.
too.
For a while, when I had two dogs, I got to where I was just no longer strong enough to hold both of them back when they lunged at another dog we were walking. So I used to have to walk two dogs. It was a lot of walking, and this I do a lot of mindless chores, taking care of pets and this and that, and packing, and so I listen to a lot of books, and I generally listen to, and even when I'm reading, it's generally nonfiction, trying to make up for
Me too,
what
me
an
too.
idiot I am, and but every now and then, especially now with the world just coming down around our shoulders, I just craved like something just mindless and right. My assistant Wendell had years ago in a used bookstore found a copy of a compilation of 7 Earl Stanley Gardner Perry Mason novels. And
Oh.
I'm telling you, I look forward to going to bed at night.
I'm listening.
I mean, I look forward to going to bed at night, but
You're not really
You
going
You
to
don't have a
bed.
bed.
No.
Yeah.
You look forward to getting
Go
on the floor.
Yeah.
I go to floor. I look forward to going to floor so that I can read this
Perry
Perry
Mason.
Mason. So I'm
They're
really
probably exciting and interesting, and you don't know where it's going to go, right?
well. A lot of them I do know where it's going to go. Perry wins.
Yeah.
Some of them are from episodes that I'm very, very familiar with, and of course they've changed them on the
The
television
new episode.
show.
The new Perry Mason.
Yeah.
Kind of
so-
dark compared to the old.
Oh no, not
Raymond
the no,
Burr.
not the new. I don't watch the new. That's sacrilege. That's wrong. That's morally wrong.
He was incredible, Raymond Burr, in that episode, in Perry Mason.
I watched the Raymond Burr
Burr, yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
He
he
was
was great.
Incredible.
Yeah, he
and,
was great.
And thin.
You were
he was
gonna
fairly thin at the time.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, he,
You're-
he.
You said you want to know, and then you were going to say.
Okay, so I was watching one the other day. I have a mini DVD player, and I have it on.
Why many with all the room in the house with no bed?
It's,
Can't get something larger?
portable. I can take it with
Oh,
me.
I see. Okay, I show you.
So I take it. Sometimes I take it on the road. That's part of what's in that suitcase.
The bed is in there.
Yeah, yeah. So I bring. I sometimes do bring my mini DVD player with me, but I'm watching. I had it on. I wasn't really watching, but I had it on while I was doing some paperwork the other day. And there's an episode. I looked it up later. The episode was made in 1961. All right. At the opening of the episode, there is a boat that's tossing in the in a storm. Of course, black and white, right? Boat tossing in a storm, and then you hear dun 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 dun
That's the
dun dun
music,
dun dun.
yeah.
And I'm like, what the? How did? It turns out. So I didn't show the screen. I made a video of me listening so that my followers could hear that thing, and then I go, what is this I'm playing? And of course, people write in and say, Jaws, Jaws, Jaws.
Right.
And one person wrote and said the name of some composer. And they said, John Williams borrowed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From that
Wow.
composer.
from
Wow.
this
Look at that.
composer. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Perry Mason was,
The thief.
yeah. Well, no, it was the other way
it was
around.
the other
It was
way
the other
around.
way.
Yeah.
But I don't think that composer worked for Perry
No.
Mason. I
But-
think they too took
And
a
it's
little.
also an ocean scene with the.
That was
yeah,
part of the funny part.
That's
Like I
interesting.
don't know. It's all
That seems very ripped off now.
So
yeah.
we know what you're reading, but what books would you suggest that maybe that changed your life?
Oh, books that changed my life.
One or two or three, if you can think of anything that were really
Well, Night,
Night by
it's an important one.
sure
Elie
Elie
Wiesel?
Wiesel.
Yeah,
What do you like about?
I was going to say by the Jew, but I guess that's
no,
not
It's okay.
not appropriate.
What did you like
Um,
about Night?
It's just in a time where people have the nerve to suggest that that the Holocaust didn't happen, and especially right now, and even with our own present day stuff, people they're trying to erase history so
Yes,
quickly
okay, yeah.
now, and it's not like a long slog of a read, and it is like
It's like 100 pages.
every
Yeah.
page is powerful.
Yeah.
He almost like he could have gone on and on about this and that, but instead, I think part of what's so impactful about that book is, in fact, how short it is.
Right.
I mean, you feel like you
You ever
read.
see the photo of him in the concentration camp in the bed?
No.
There's
Oh.
there's a bunk shot, and it's a couple of Jews, and their head is out, and he's in there. He's a little kid.
It's wild to think that they
Picture of him.
slept better in the Holocaust than Paula does in her own place.
Yeah, it did. They rested. They worked harder during the day.
Yeah,
So Night is one, which
that's
is
one. Another book that called The Children by David Halberstam, and came out, I don't know, 20,
I've
20
read
30
something by
years
him.
ago.
I like him.
Yeah, he wrote
He's
a bunch of
amazing.
great stuff.
A lot of great stuff.
This is David Halberstam lived in Nashville, I believe, and at one point in his career, and he wrote for a Nashville newspaper, and he really was like the last guy in the door kind of thing, and so they gave him the assignment of covering the kids at the lunch counters
Oh,
and that were working to desegregate the lunch counters in Nashville. Now there was a group in Greensboro, is it North Carolina, and there were groups in other places in the country, but David Halberstam happened to live there, and he covered this there, and so he went on years later to write this book called The Children, wherein he used the research at the time, and then he follows many of the people like
later on.
and he called it The Children because they literally were children. You think about it now at like how young they were doing that, and they were trained by a guy named James Lawson, who just died recently. He was 90-something years old. He was Reverend James Lawson, and he lived here in Los Angeles, and is one of the only like real life heroes I've ever met. He trained those kids to do what they did,
Wow.
and among them was John Lewis. Among them was who was the former mayor of D.C. The guy he ran amok for a little while.
The crackhead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
right
They
now.
had the videos of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
They caught him twice.
But he was.
Yeah.
But he was. He was one of the guys.
Sorry
and-
to reduce
and
him
what-
to crackhead.
Well,
but,
yeah,
you
he's
know.
not. Well, yeah. I mean, he sort
Yeah.
of fell off the path
Go off the crack
there.
wagon.
But
Why is it
but
just
that,
a crackhead?
But
Why
that
would-
doesn't take away. I wish I could think of his name. That doesn't take away the grandeur, the importance of what he did as a young man.
The crackhead.
And did you see The Butler? The movie The Butler years ago was about a guy who was a butler in the White House for years, and
No.
it follows his life all these years. And
The
his-
documentary.
No.
No.
And his son, I wish I could think of the name of the actor that started it, but in the movie, his son becomes a freedom fighter.
Mhm.
And he's, a little bit undone by it because he doesn't want, he's more of a guy that wants to move more slowly in terms of civil rights, and he feels beholden to the president that he serves there in the White House. And but they in the story in The Butler they have some scenes where they show what the kids are doing. And I had the opportunity to ask James Lawson about it. I said, how accurate were the scenes in the Butler? He said they were. That's pretty much what it was. And then they would go sit on the stools at the counter. People would spit on them, call them names, put cigarettes out on their hands, and you know what they did? Nothing.
Mhm.
They didn't react. They just sat there. And then eventually it got, because of David Halberstam's attention to it, for one thing, then the cops started coming and pulling them off. And when they did that, the kids had a line of guys to back them up outside. So the cops would pull one kid, take them out and arrest them, and by God, another kid would come sit in that same
Right.
chair. There was a scene in The Children where James Lawson is outside with that row of kids, right, that are waiting to go in. And some guys, like he said, like I think they were like in wife beaters and ducktail hair and leather jackety kind of kids white kids, and they come by and they start harassing this group of black students waiting to go in, and they I don't know, they knock one of them down, and I believe it was a guy named Bevel. I think his last name's Bevel. He falls on top of his ally and to protect him from the blows, just the way they had been taught to do. And James Lawson walks over, and kids are kicking these two students and spitting on them and everything. And one of them looks up and spits on Lawson when he comes up, and he gets spit all over his glasses. And he takes his glasses off. He had like wire room glasses. He takes his glasses off. He takes out a handkerchief. He dries them off. He puts his glasses back on, and he says to one of the kids, he says, is that your motorcycle over there? What kind of bike is that? And the kid's, excited to talk about his motorcycle. He engages with them. They stop.
Right.
And they go away. I'm like, okay, I can't believe I shook the hand of a man who has that kind of courage.
Right.
That's, it's a great book. I've read.
Good. Yeah. Yesterday, I was listening to this podcast on Fresh Air, and she had on I can't remember his name now, a playwright from South Africa during apartheid. He wrote 30 plays, and very famous one too. And he said one of the differences between racism in America and South Africa is we didn't have lynchings. Nobody lynched anybody. And she said, why? He said, because the government did it for you. You didn't have to go out and do it on your own.
Wow.
Very powerful moment.
Yeah.
So let's.
Well, however, I mean, it's not that they had to, right? I mean, the stories of people joining in on things like that and relishing it are horrific. Don't you think that at this point in our history, that the fake wrestling is one of our problems?
It's a huge problem.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
it's funny. Fake wrestling. Yesterday I went. I'm slightly ashamed, but I enjoyed it. I went to Netflix has 15 episodes of WBA or something. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it, but I watched the first episode yesterday. It's phony. It is so entertaining.
I just can't imagine being entertained by that.
What am I missing? Was there a big wrestling story, or that
No.
was just?
And here's the connection: Trump. Right,
Mr.
the fact that Trump likes that stuff, and
He loves it. He knows more about it than anything.
He does, and he, I think he understands. I think,
How did you know that? Did you listen to him on Rogan?
No, I just knew that he did. I don't know. I just knew that he was, and then he keeps putting the people that run the fake wrestling into the administration. Now the Secretary of Education is like from the fake wrestling. I mean, it just seems.
So I just want to give you the name of that playwright, just I don't want to, he passed on recently. He was 90-something years old. Athol Fugard is his name, the playwright, and he wrote some magnificent plays. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw one of them. And anyway, he's the guy that said that. So let's go to these three stories, all right?
Okay, I'm ready for the three stories.
Okay, so
and,
the
and
first
then
one,
after
Put
the
me on,
stories,
Coach.
I want to ask you because I just
What's the
wanted
meaning
to-
of life? Do you
No.
need the meaning of life again?
Well, I just wanted to ask you about Robin Williams a little bit, or maybe we could do it before the
can we
stories.
do it? Because I know you're
Sure.
close. And I want to ask you where you get your bed. I want to know, because I want to get one like you. It sounds reasonable. And
It is.
I always buy expensive beds, and there's no reason, obviously, because you look good. You're sitting up straight.
I have terrible allergies, and I have a chronic cough as a result of my allergies. And So every now and then I try to go to a doctor and see if I can get it fixed, and
can't.
then I give up. It never seems.
I have
to
the same
work,
thing.
So
Sometimes I get a call for 6, 7, 8 weeks.
yeah,
And I think
I'm just like that
lung
all the
cancer.
time. Yeah.
I always go, I'm going to be dead soon because
Well,
it can't possibly last this long.
well, I always figured if it was really something lethal, I'd be dead already. I mean, I've had a cough for 30 or 40 years now. So,
You're going to start smoking. It just,
well, I had gone to this
Might get rid
allergist.
of it.
Everybody would say to me, "How come you don't? Why didn't you go to Doctor He?" And I would ask, "Well, because it's allergies. I know it's allergies. And guess what? There's not a lot you can do about allergies."
no.
Right.
Do they
and I'm not
shake
gonna
their head
get
like that
shots.
when they tell you that? Do they do that? They go,
What? Yeah, they do.
Do you think it's
It's really something it's
I
I
know.
enjoy most interactions with most people, but this is even coming from friends,
Yeah,
and
the
I
allergy.
just find it's such an irksome thing to say. Like I never thought of that, right? But so I went one time finally just to get just so I could confront people with the fact that I did go to an allergist. So I went to this allergist one time, and does the test. And by the way, one of the things I'm allergic to
cats?
what's the kind of mites that are in your
The
bed?
eyelashes?
Dust mites.
Oh, you have mites just all
Yes.
over you.
Yeah, it's mites.
You just
So
like-
she goes, well, they're
just
they're
fill it with
often in
mites.
mattresses.
I guarantee you it's in the hat you're wearing. I know that for sure.
So she says, so she leaves the room and says, "Oh yes, you're allergic to, it's dust mites." I said,
Uh-huh.
So she leaves the room and she comes back in and she has a catalog with her, and it's a catalog of like hypoallergenic sheets. I guess they have like a tighter weave or something, and
Yeah.
the little mites can't get
You can't
through.
get through.
I don't know. And I said to her, I go, well, first of all, I don't own a bed, and second of all, half my life is spent in hotel rooms. And she said she was very insistent that I buy these sheets. And she said, well, you take them with you. Okay, you thought my suitcase was big before. Sheets
Now.
are heavy.
Yeah.
You take them with. I was like, how does that look, right? What do you do? How is it? So now you arrive at the hotel and they go, I'm sorry, your room's not ready. Don't worry about it. I got my own sheets.
Sheets, pillowcases.
I
got
some
my own blanket.
I got some cleaning ingredients in here. I'm happy to take that up.
Can I ask you about this vest? This is a fantastic vest that you're wearing, and it says Guido's Fresh Marketplace and Paula on it.
Yeah.
Did you work at Guido's Fresh Marketplace?
No, the family I used to live with when I was a teenager owns Guido's Fresh Marketplace.
Ah.
It's that old? The
and-
vest is? like-
No, they still own it, and we're still close. So
Every
And
couple of years
you
they
have
give you one of-
duct tape on the.
I did have to duct tape up part of it because my cat Lawson,
The-
it's a nylon
Yeah.
fiberfill vest, and my cat Lawson has very sharp.
I think the
claws.
mites probably ate through it.
It's more than he was probably going after the mites that were on the inside. That's my guess.
You
Well,
ever
it's a
put
cool
on those
vest
shirts
anyway.
that you sell, like we all have mites, in the
Oh,
back
that's
of the
a good-
shirt?
yeah,
That's a good idea. Yeah. So
Robin.
Robin Williams,
I met him. I spent a little bit of time with him, but you
you knew him pretty well,
we
right?
were friends. I don't know who knows Robin well. He was an oddly quiet guy off stage. So I don't. I was certainly a benefactor. He was very nice to me, and he introduced me to his management company years ago, and but that was also Dana Carvey also did that, and he was he was a supporter, what do you call that, like like a
mentor a
yeah
little bit.
yeah. But the truth is, it's not like it's not like he talked to me that much, really. Which at the time I thought was just me. I thought, oh my God, I'm in the room with the guy, barely says
But
a
he
word
put
to
you
me.
on something, didn't he? Or,
He did.
Yeah,
He brought
did.
me. He was hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and you did.
and he
it,
brought
yeah.
me on
He
as a
brought you
stand-up.
on, which is an amazing thing to do.
It was a
somebody.
very nice thing to
Yeah.
do. And by the way, I don't think I was particularly good, but there it was. I did the best I could. But yeah. One time years ago, he drove me home when I lived in San Francisco. We were at a club till closing, I'm sure, and then he offered me. I didn't have a car or anything like that, so he offers me a ride home, and he drives me to my apartment. And I had gone to back then the rental videotape rental place.
Yeah, Blockbuster.
No, this place was Captain Video, but same
Mhm.
idea.
Okay.
And I used to just go rent tapes of movies that I had never seen before, and that I thought there might be some reason why I should see it. So I really didn't know what was in either of these, but one of them was the Misfits,
Yeah.
and the other one was the Pawnbroker.
Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. The other
Yeah.
one's a Pawnbroker, where
Rod Steiger.
Rod Steiger puts his hand on a spindle that holds the little credit slips.
Yeah.
And he
Boom.
and he pushes
Yeah.
his hand. This is but Robin, he goes, "Oh, what movies do you have?" And I showed him, and he goes, "What do you having? Manic depressive film festivals at your house?" Well, I had no idea that there were these really depressing.
That was the
movies.
last film that both Gable and Marilyn Monroe made.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He had a heart attack. I think during the making of the film, there's a big thing where they're pulling the horses on the ropes.
Can't even remember.
It's
I
a
watched
great
it,
film.
but
Montgomery Clift is also in it.
yeah.
It's incredible how you remember all this stuff, Mark.
He does.
Monty. I know him as Monty.
I don't remember things about stuff I watched a week ago.
I know.
The when you said he had a heart attack. Okay, so Raymond Burr, I've been told this. I haven't seen it, but apparently Raymond Burr got sick at some point during the making of the series, and
Of Perry Mason or Ironside?
of Perry Mason. I think it's the only one, maybe, or maybe there were two. I'm not sure that he wasn't on, and they replaced him with Betty Davis.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
a-
she didn't say, "And now I'm Perry Mason."
yeah.
But they just put in a character that I'm sure she was on the phone with him a lot.
Bet. I
Did
know
you
his bet.
stay?
Oh, you know her bet? Yeah.
I guess did you? I would say, did you stay close with Robin? But the way you say it sounds almost like there was a distance. Did you
Well,
stay
no,
distant
I
with
mean,
him?
I did. I stayed distant with him. No, I mean, I consider him a friend. I miss him. But I just, when you're like, I don't know that I could say I knew him really well, because he just,
Mhm.
he was an oddly quiet guy
Yeah.
when he wasn't on stage.
That's right.
He also was, I believe, a literal stimulation junkie. You know, he liked to have, he liked to be around things that were happening. Whether it was being out in the clubs or, I don't know. But then when he wasn't doing those things, he was just kind of quiet. And again, in the beginning, when I first experienced that, I thought it was just me. I thought, wow, I thought he liked me okay, but he didn't really say anything. And then I happened to mention it to somebody else who knew him one time, and they went, "Oh yeah," he's always like, "Oh, okay, I
Right.
feel better, thank
Yeah,
you."
the time I spent with him, he's very quiet generally. He's not off the wall like he is when you see him live.
Right, exactly.
Just really,
I mean,
So
we had the kind of like I went to their house. I was a guest for Christmas and holiday kind of things like that. And
What
so,
was the house like?
nice?
what they serve to eat.
We actually, well, at Christmas we went to a restaurant up in
Nice.
Napa.
But did
It was
did he
delicious.
did he have stuff from his movies? Did he keep stuff? Was he?
He was he was one of the early purveyors of the toys in the glass cabinet guys.
Sure.
But he didn't have to dust those toys.
Jonathan Winters, who
we
was
were roommates in San Francisco for a little while.
Who, you and Robin?
Me and his family, yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, having said that, again, it's not like he sat around and talked to me a lot.
I met him one time in New York. I was in college. He was a big influence on me as a kid. Like, made me want to be funny, So I used to write him because my neighbor Walter, who just passed away, was a World War II veteran, and he had a big book of celebrity addresses, and he would write to all these people and get their autographed pictures, and then he'd sell them. But he'd write, "I'm a World War II veteran. I was a paratrooper,
Yeah.
and this and that unit," and then they'd always write back a letter and give him an autograph. So Robin sent him one, and I was like, and it said, "To Walter, with love, Robin Williams." I was like, "Oh, I want one." He's like, "I'll give you Robin's address. You can write him." So I wrote him, and he said, "He's going to write you back." And I'm checking the mailbox every day for the thing. It didn't have. He says, "Write him again." So I write him again. And again, I'm going every day to the mailbox as soon as I get home from school, like throw my knapsack down, run to the mailbox. Where's my thing from Robin Williams? Never came. So I ran into him. I was in college. He was shooting something on Lexington Avenue at the Armory. And it's just him walking towards me walking towards him. And I just thought maybe it'd be funny to go this way with it. And I said, "Hey, Williams, I got a bone to pick with you." And he goes, "Oh no, what did I do?" so I said, "No, you didn't do anything. I love you." And I said, "But when I was a kid, I wrote you for an autographed picture, and I checked every day. I never got one. He goes, "Oh, I was on so many drugs back then. I let a lot of little boys and girls down." He's like, "Do you want a picture now?" So I
That's
got a
sweet.
picture with him at that
Nice.
moment. But it was very nice. But
We had in the 4th grade Mrs. Greenblatt. That goes without saying.
mhm.
I think we're all in agreement on that.
We all had a Mrs. Greenblatt.
Yeah.
I'll
Miss
go
Green-
with it.
Okay. She was teaching us. I think the unit ultimately we were learning a number of skills, but I think it was largely post office driven. You know how to use a postal.
Write letters to the astronauts and
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was right to its celebrity, right? So my best friend and chief rival at the time was a guy named Jim Ross, and Jim. I don't think he ever knew that I felt rivalrous of him because he was so far out ahead of me. I don't think he could imagine that I thought that I was somehow in competition with him. He was a musical protege. He, went on scholarship to Harvard. He's now a conductor. He's a genius. So at the time, so we have to choose a celebrity to write to. I choose Mike Andrews from the Red Sox, who was, I think he was a second baseman maybe. And Jim chooses Herb Alpert. Jim had just started playing the
Tijuana Brothers.
trumpet at the time. Yes, exactly. So I send my letter off. Everybody does, right? Jim sends his off. And if you get anything back, that Mrs. Greenblatt's going to put it up on the bulletin board. Very exciting. And I swear to God, every day, Jim's got another thing up on the board. Herb Alpert sends him, an 8x10. He sends him,
Right.
he sends him a 45 of Tijuana Taxi.
Wow.
He sends him some charts. He asks, he asks him what he thinks about this arrangement. He's, should I do the theme song for the
Wow.
dating game? Like him and Jim are now, right?
Unbelievable.
Like this. I same thing. It reminded me because every day I went out to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Every day I went to, and
Yeah.
I would cry because I didn't get anything from Mike Andrews. So many, many, many years later, and I never did hear from him. And I couldn't even watch the Red Sox anymore because my sisters would tease me so unmercifully over the fact that I didn't hear back from Mike Andrews. So many, many, many years go by. I'm on Wait, Don't Tell Me. I'm sitting in front of an audience. I forget what prompted this. There was somebody in the audience that was like had something to do with the Red Sox or something. I can't remember anymore. But I tell that story.
Nice.
And the guy goes, "Well, boy, that doesn't sound like him." And I guess I must have given the guy my email address or something.
Uh-huh.
And a couple days later, I
Wow.
get an email from Mike Andrews
Wow.
apologizing.
No kidding.
And
Wow.
he says, I don't know how that could have happened. He says, I made it a point to answer all of my fan mail. And then I realized I probably didn't address the envelope right.
Wow.
It was probably my fault,
Yeah.
not his
Wow.
fault. And all these years
Wow.
of bitter resentment.
Walter, my neighbor, may rest in peace. He had all these pictures because he did this. It should have been documented. His walls looked like a kosher deli. He had every
Or dry cleaner.
framed
Yeah.
picture, but I mean there was no space. And his wife, they're Italian. She used to yell at him, Annie. She'd like, "Walter, you take down some of the damn pictures." The ceiling to floor pictures of celebrities from all walks of life, astronauts, cosmonauts,
Amazing.
sports people. This is one of my favorites. And Tom Hanks wrote him a 4-page letter. So he'd sell them all. But they'd all say to Walter. So one of them was Neil Armstrong. So Neil Armstrong sent him a nice letter thanking him for his service in World War II and a signed photo. And Walter's like, I could get $120 for this photo, Daniel. Oh, this is great, So he sells it. He had this guy, Captain Hook, that used to come and buy them. So Captain Hook comes by, he buys the thing, $120. I was there because I was saving up. I couldn't buy it. And he says, "Don't worry, there'll be more." So he writes Neil Armstrong again. He says, "This is Walter PG. I never heard back from you. I'm a World War II veteran." He gets another one. Another $120 from Captain Hook. He does it 4 times.
Really?
The last one comes with a letter from Neil Armstrong. He says, "I don't know if you're getting these. If you're not getting these, I appreciate your service in World War II. I will not be sending out any more autograph photos."
So I got an autograph story.
Oh, good.
Quick one here. So I moved to California with my parents when I was 8 years old, maybe. We moved to California for a year from New York.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a Ralph's supermarket, and there was a TV show on at the time called Oh Susanna, and it was with Gail Storm, actress, and a guy named Roy Roberts. Anyway, it took place on an ocean liner, like a cruise ship. I'm in Ralph's. I'm 8 years old, and I see this guy down the aisle, and I go, and I yell, "There's Captain Huxley!" That's the character he plays on the show. And the guy's like, he's got the cart, and I go to my mother, "There's Captain Huxley." I never saw an actor, anything in my life. I run over to him. I said, "Captain Huxley?" He goes, "Yes. Yes, son." And I said, "Can I get an autographed picture of you?" And he goes, "I don't carry them with me to the supermarket, but if you give me your address, I will mail you one." So I said, "Ma, he's going to..." So we write down the address. We give it to him. He goes, "I'm going to mail you the picture, you know." Anyway, so that night, there's a knock on our apartment door. And I go, "Who is it?" And the voice goes, "It's Captain Huxley." I go, "Ma, Captain Huxley's at the door." And she goes, "What?" And I open. I'm in my underwear, just like my little short. I open the door. He's standing there in a sport jacket, and my mother and father come in, and they go, "Captain Huxley, what are you doing? What are you doing here?" And he has a package with him that's wrapped, and he goes, "Son, I know how important this was to you. This is Christmas week, and I know if I mailed it to you, you would not get it for a couple of weeks probably. Wow. So here, I open it up. It's a framed picture of him to mark Merry Christmas, Captain Huxley. Roy Roberts was his real name. And that changed my life.
You still have it?
That is
I
so
have it on my
nice.
wall for 60 years. I have it on my wall. Never, or people come in, they think it's a family member because the guy's in a captain's outfit. They think it's, and I've always had it on the wall
How
there.
did it change your life?
Oh yeah. Well, what happened was when I was, I didn't have a high opinion of adults when I was 8 years old. I'd been promised things, I didn't get them. My parents was fighting, screaming. This guy proved to me that adults could be okay, and they were kind. And I didn't know a lot of kindness up until that point. So that was an amazing, amazing moment
That's
in
a
my life.
great thing.
That's a
Yeah, it was
beautiful
unbelievable.
story. Wow.
Yeah. And I've had it. I said to my mother, because I'm Jewish, and I said, "Can I take a Christmas present from you?" Because I didn't know if it was okay for a Jew to actually accept a Christmas present.
Consult
she
your
said,
rabbi.
"Of course you can."
Yeah.
Of course you can. So anyway,
Oh, that's
Okay.
so cool.
yeah, it was a beautiful, and these three stories were beautiful.
All right, here we go.
Mm.
All
So
right,
here you
I'm,
go.
I'm totally prepared.
Okay, I know you are.
I have a lot of physical strength.
Okay. So Disney,
Yeah.
Danny pointed out, Disney now has a first residential community in California to open soon. And this is, they have a place where you can go live, a Disney community.
Could you do
Wow.
that? Could you live at Disney? I mean,
Yeah.
You would. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
When I was 18 years old, I went to Orlando from Massachusetts because I wanted to be a bear in the Disney World Parade. And because in the 8th grade, I had done an oral report, an extensive oral report on Walt Disney. And one of the things that I thought I read was that, and it may have been, I thought I read that there was housing on the lot for employees. Now, it may well be that what I was reading about was during the building of it, and maybe they had
Right.
like
Sure.
trailers or something.
Uh-huh.
But I somehow came away with, if I can get myself down there and get hired, I'll have a place to live
At Disneyland.
because they have, and I didn't need anything fancy. But when I went to apply, which I mean, I literally got off the bus, stayed in the city hotel, and then made my way to Disneyland, and made it down to the casting office. And when I told the guy, I think when they on the application it was like address, and I put Massachusetts because it's the last place I lived. And at that point, I didn't have a place to live really. Thought I was going to live at Disney World. It was Disney World, and the guy was like, "Well, how come you put this address?" I go, because I got they had housing," and he was like, "No, we don't."
I
I
can't
said I could
imagine living
swear
in Disneyland.
I
Like
think I'd love it.
you live in a building, it's an apartment building or whatever, and then something's wrong. The maintenance guy comes up. He's dressed as a rabbit.
He's dressed as Goofy.
You know, you get in the
Yeah,
elevator.
Goofy would definitely be
Right.
the maintenance
Yeah.
guy.
All the music in the elevator.
Oh
It's a
gosh, it
small
looks like
world
you're backed up
after all.
with your sewage.
Yeah, I can't. And what level of listen? You're a bright
I
person,
love Disney.
but you're a bright person. You're well read. What kind of people are going to live there?
Not that well read.
Not that well
A
read.
lot of people that are Disney fans are lovely people.
I have my wife has a cousin who he's 60-something years old. Every year flies back and forth to go to Disneyland.
But don't you think everything is more special in moderation? Like if you lived at Disney all the time, wouldn't it lose its appeal?
I don't think so.
No?
Well,
could
I
you
love
eat
it, though.
cotton candy and a hot dog every meal?
Well, I don't eat hot dogs, but I could eat cotton candy every
I
meal.
know you
Sure.
do. I know you do.
Are
Yeah.
you vegan?
I'd swing vegan when it's convenient.
He's vegan.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I don't swing.
You don't
Uh,
swing.
yeah.
I just
Wing vegan, sweet
Chariot.
chariot.
brought
Um,
you a cup of rice. Okay,
it's,
so
it's hard on the road, of course.
not
A little,
anymore. It
little bit
used to-
easier now.
It's
but
easier now. I remember going down south many times, and I would say, like, do you ever kind of fresh vegetable? And we have canned cream of corn.
Yeah.
And it was difficult.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was,
absolutely.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
I shop at. I'll ask where there's a Trader Joe or something, and I'll go buy food, and I'm fine eating out of cans in my room of spinach or peas and carrots. I'm good with that. I don't need anything.
Sounds like Popeye. Just would you squeeze it and the can opens? How do you do that?
Remember,
Yeah.
it shoots up in the air right down his throat.
Right into his muscles.
They wanted a quick fix for hair loss. Instead, so these guys, the Wall Street Journal said these guys used this hair stuff, and then all of a sudden they started getting sick.
But read it. Read what it says.
Michael Mills, 26.
It's sad, but read it.
Okay, so Hims and Other, his name is Hims.
Sure, Hims
Hims is a
is the name of the
company.
company.
By the way,
Oh,
I
is
just
it?
bought this stuff for hair loss. I'm not going to use it now. I just got it. It arrived in my house not long ago. I haven't tried it.
Those late night ads got to you?
No,
did you know-
another comedian at the Laugh Factory had it in his set. He's had a good head of hair, and he said, I was almost bald, and I started using Hims.
Tell me he's not getting paid.
No, I talked to him afterwards. He's a
Yeah.
young guy, and,
Yeah.
and I said, so you did all that material about the Hims. Is that real? He goes, 100% real.
Yeah, right.
So this guy started
Yeah.
getting dizzy after taking the pills, slurring his words. Later, his libido plunged.
And then
I'm
what?
at a point in my life, my libido couldn't plunge if it wanted to. It's so plunged. It's like beyond plunged.
He's
Plunge would be-
asexual, too.
I wish
yeah.
to God I could plunge.
Yeah. So, well, maybe it'll have the opposite effect on you. Maybe if you use the Hims, it'll come up a little.
Yeah.
The old libido.
Oh God, plunge.
Do you
See, I
have a
don't have to
libido
worry
if
about-
you're
no,
asexual?
no,
Never had one?
No.
All right.
Don't have to worry with any of that.
I thought as soon as you saw
foolishness.
me, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be asexual.
Never an
No, I
attraction
mean-
to either, or
Not never, but nothing you really need to act on.
how'd you know? Because you tried and
Well,
you said it's not for
I
me.
don't know. I don't know. Maybe I always say to my kids, I go, maybe someday, Mom will surprise you. Maybe someday, when I get more time, I'll just find somebody and experiment. But so far it's just never
Yeah.
been and I feel really lucky in this way. It has never been a priority. It's never,
So after shows, when a guy comes on to you, or something,
It's
back at the club
happened.
in the club days, of course
yes,
it did.
Yeah,
Of course it did.
yeah,
You just no, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I like people.
yeah,
Right? I like hanging out. I like talking.
yeah. Me
Like
too.
but I've when I lived in when I lived in Orlando, I obviously didn't get a job at Disney World, so I had to get a job. So I got a job at the International House of Pancakes on the Orange Blossom Trail, and it was about 4 miles from where I got. I lived with roommates. So I met, found some people. In fact, it was in a Disney employee publication that I found somebody that wanted a roommate because I thought, well, that could be my way back and forth, right, to Disney World. It never quite materialized, but I did live in this apartment 4 hours away from where I worked a graveyard job at in Orlando, and so I had to walk. Didn't have any transportation. I walk, and I used to walk at 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock because I thought it was safer. And I kept noticing all these women in dresses out there walking. I thought, wasn't that, boy, I'm underdressed, wearing my green corduroys. And sometimes guys would pull over and offer me a ride. And I would say, no, thanks. I'm good. Thank you. I didn't understand it at all. Until one night, somebody offered me a ride, and I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I get in the car, and the guy, he's driving, not fast. He was driving slowly. And he reaches over, like to have, some sort of contact. And I was horrified. And I had no idea that I was walking in this stretch of hookers. And this poor guy, I mean, I don't know who looks at these ladies in dresses and picks up the girl with a yellow knapsack and green corduroys.
Yeah.
I don't know who makes that choice, but, it was more an REI kind of guy. And the thing is, I don't think he meant any harm at all. He thought I was a hooker.
Yeah.
So he was doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And when he realized that I didn't get that and that I wasn't, he tried to apologize, but I jumped out of the moving car. I was like so scared. But that was the end of my hooking career right then. That was the night.
Yeah.
You talked
You
about.
didn't get hooked on hooking.
No,
No.
really.
Without the hooker thing, what would somebody have to offer you to get you to get in the car with them?
What do you mean, for a walk? Like if I was walking?
If you were walking, a guy pulls over, a lady pulls over, and it's not a sexual thing.
Well, now I wouldn't get in the car with. I mean, those were desperate times, desperate measures. I wasn't hitchhiking at the time. I used to hitchhike when I was younger.
Me too. I'll tell you a quick thing about.
I don't think it's the
car.
same climate.
I was in the Catskill Mountains. I was about 16. I was a busboy, dishwasher at a camp, and I'm walking with this girl at night, and we're just walking along the side of the road, and a car pulls over and says, "You like a ride?" I said, "Yeah." It's, where you going? They go, "We're going about a mile down. That's where we're going that way."
Yeah.
So the back door opens, and I go, "Her, go ahead, go." And they pull her into the car and pull away and leave me there. Yeah. They just yank her in. And anyway, she was fine, and they let her out, and they just didn't want to. There's no way to find out why they did that.
Yeah.
But no harm came to her.
Oh, thank goodness.
And
what is so scary.
it was unbelievable.
For about a month in Manhattan, when I was younger and doing spots, I would, you go all around the city to do spots. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I could hitchhike in Manhattan from spot to spot. And I did it. And I did it for about a month before I had a very terrifying hitchhike situation where the guy I thought was going to kill me, and that's when I stopped. But it was incredible. I was able to hitchhike around Manhattan.
I can't imagine that.
So I have
it's not the climate for it for many years now.
No.
I have a hitchhiking story in Manhattan.
Yeah.
That is really. So I worked for PBS, Children's TV Network, CTN.
Yeah.
And I was I worked in the why am I forgetting? The mailroom. I worked in the mailroom. I was like 17, 18 years old. So they come over to me, and the boss there says, "Listen, Mark, we had a special attaché case made for so-and-so, the executive, with his initials on it. I need you to go down to Bonwiteller, wherever it was. They had it made. It's ready. Go pick it up and come back. Here's $20 to take a cab there and back, because we want you to come fast. $20. So I get outside. I figure, I'm not taking a cab. I'll take the bus for 20 cents. I'll keep the thing, because, whatever. So I'm waiting for the bus. So just for heck of it, I think, maybe I'll just stick my thumb out and I'll save the 20 cents. So I put my thumb out. A truck stops right there. He goes, "Where you going?" I go, 57th Street. He goes, "Hop in." I get in, and the thing reeks of weed. It's just, I just smell it. It's, anyway, he goes, "Okay, I'm taking down." We get to 57th Street or so wherever it is, and we're at a red light, and he starts going. Somebody bangs on his car, on the truck window on his side. And he opens up and goes, "What's going on?" "Look what you did!" And then we get out, and he ran over a guy's head. Yeah. So listen to this. This drunk guy, because I knew he was drunk. He had a bottle of wine in his back pocket, and he fell. He didn't run him over. The guy fell under the back wheel while we were stopped, and then he went over.
Oh my God.
So he says to me, "Get back in the car. I need you to do me a favor." And he throws me like 3 ounces of weed. He goes, "Get out of here. Get rid of this. I'm not supposed to pick up a hitchhiker. This will make it worse, and throw this away."
Wow.
Yeah. So I get out and I throw it down a sewer, and all these people were gathered around. I'm standing there, and then I just kind of, now I got to go get the attaché case, you know.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I go down there, I get the attaché case, and I pick it up, and now I take a cab back. And it's taken me a while to get back here now. And I get back, and the guy, my boss, looks at me and goes, "You look terrible. Absolutely terrible. Are you okay?" And I couldn't talk. I said, "Not really. I go home." You know? I give him the attaché case, and I went home. I went to bed for 3 days. And but that was a hitchhiking.
Some guy living in the sewer had.
So the guy, so he
the day of
didn't
his
roll
life.
over his head.
Yeah.
No, he did. What happened was the truck had stopped at the red light. This drunk guy fell under the back wheel.
Yeah.
And then he started going and just ran the head over.
Oh,
So that guy was
jeez.
dead. Right?
Come
That's
on.
it.
Come on. Who says there are no stupid questions? Whoever said that? Because that's one of the
So
stuff.
all right. So
Well, I
flat-
mean, usually
no,
you'd say it, and he
Flat
kills
as
the
a
guy.
pancake.
Taking Dan's lead. What do you think's happened to him?
The truck driver.
No, the dead guy.
Oh, well, yeah. You're a guest. I don't want to say anything nasty to you, you know. But anyway, that was a life, and I never hitchhiked again.
I just want to read you the next
Wow.
line of that article because I know we're moving on from it, but I just got to read you the next line of that article. All right? For the hymns. Soon after taking the medicine, Milich said that he felt strange symptoms. He woke up one day with anxious, dizzy slurring of his words. Later, his libido plunged. That's where we got up to. And then his genitals shrank. And then his genitals changed shapes. Right there in the article.
Wow.
What the?
He's got great hair. Fantastic hair.
Changed shape?
You know, that's what people notice first, anyways. They don't notice your genitals; they're all covered up.
What
right?
shape did they change into?
Yeah. Like a
my-
Disney character.
Yeah, I was going to say shamrocks. I just think
That's with the little buds on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
always
Four-leaf
after.
clover.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think I'm going to return that stuff. You know?
Yeah. At what point do you have to return it? Like, honey, Joe, come here. Look at this. I got to bring these pills back.
It's a triangle now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Last one.
Yeah.
And we were going to talk about this at the beginning. The astronauts. They're
The
back.
astronauts. I'm so excited that they're back safely. I mean, I know some people that work in the industry, and
In the
they
astronaut industry?
Yeah, and they told me that those astronauts were having the time of their life. Would make sense because when you guess you train for a lifetime, and there's astronauts that never go to space.
Oh, right. Most of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was, and Sunny Williams, they made her the commander of the space station, and so it was supposed to be a week, and now it's I think it'll
9
be
months.
9 months. That's kind of great. I mean, I'm sure there's things that they
Wow,
were
I never
homesick
thought
for,
of that.
but they're flipping around, and they're I
The
think
hair, did you see her?
Yeah.
That's a bad hair day.
yeah
For 9 months.
yeah no, it's kind of great.
It was incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, I believe that. I mean, I'm sure the worst part of it was, missing the people that they may have missed, but also, it takes a toll physically. But my understanding was she was working out like 2 to 3 hours a day to try to stave off bad impacts. And,
the muscle.
yeah.
They
and
probably don't have mattresses in space, do they? They
I think
wouldn't.
they sat in a chair.
I think they're like strapped to a wall or something. I don't know.
And
I
they probably
should
don't
ask.
shower that much.
No,
And with
I'm
no
not
gravity,
sure.
I
And
wonder.
I'm sure they sleep in the spacesuit.
Yeah.
You might be suited to be an astronaut.
I wonder what it's like returning, though. I wonder what it's like returning, and then
So do I.
after 9 months,
I
and
think we're
now
gonna find out.
feeling gravity.
Yeah.
They're going to write a book about it.
Yeah, surely they will.
And we're going to find out. It's incredibly interesting. By the way, I've never asked anybody, again, I said this here, with the book thing, this is true. I hope you can come back sometime because we really didn't cover the showbiz. And
We didn't cover showbiz?
Not really. We spoke about Robin, but we didn't talk about the road and traveling and people you've met.
I would love to have you back anytime because you're just delightful.
Well,
And
that's so sweet of
And
you.
seriously,
well, now that I know where the bus is, now can you guys drop me off?
it doesn't run. I told you it's a green bus.
Wow, great.
All right.
All right.
So
Thank
listen,
you.
why don't you give a little? We're going to give you an introduction
Oh,
that is so
yeah,
long
yeah,
before this because
right,
we know
yeah.
how well this just
The
went.
Gilbert
Yeah,
style
yeah,
intro.
tell 'em.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll put that in. But why don't you have something you want to plug your podcast?
Oh yeah, I have a podcast. It's called Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, and I don't have a bus.
Yeah.
Just record out of my.
You can always come and record in here if you want to.
Nice sound. It's got good sound.
Yeah,
thank
good
you.
sound. Anything else you want to?
No, that
okay,
should do
good.
it.
I got you.
Mark?
My book, Why Not? Lessons on Comedy, Courage, and Chutzpah. My other book, I Killed. True Lessons of the Road by, America's comedians. And just go to my website, markshift.com, see where I'm touring if I'm in a neighborhood near you.
Awesome. Very cool. And I've got comic books about my life at fairenoughcomic.com. And I've got a special coming out on Amazon called Reconquistador. So look out for that. And that's about it.
Thank you.
We think it's funny, and we hope you did as well. And if you did, please make sure you tell your friends, subscribe, leave us a nice comment on Apple Podcasts.
And go to YouTube and sign up for our YouTube.
Yes, we need that. Leave us 5 stars. Check us out. We're all over the social media. Bye-bye.